Alrighty, we are damn well near burning the midnight oil, but us metalheads are nocturnal creatures. And joining us tonight, this evening, we have Paula and Nick from Melbourne's Cunt Squad. How are
Hello.
you guys going?
Good. How are you? How's things?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I think you guys are about breaking a record for our latest interview, but I've got a later one
Yeah,
next week, so
that's all
We're
right.
always up.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
same,
that's true.
same.
We're night creatures, so yeah.
Yep, yep. The black shirts are a bit of a giveaway, aren't they? So, how are things going in the Cunt Squad camp at the moment? Been a lot
uh,
happening recently.
yeah,
Yeah,
um, yeah. Got the CD coming out. It's gone. It's already available digital. Um, yeah, good responses. Loads of you know, interviews and whatnot. And yeah,
yeah.
just having a break in between shows at the moment before
Yep.
we start
Embark on the
the
tour.
big tour. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
start off with Western Australia in mid-September, and then sort of rolls from there. But the CD's been really well received, I've got to say, surprisingly, because
Yeah.
of the title and yeah, so it's a bit,
Mm,
it was interesting, but yeah, we've had some really great write-ups from some overseas mags and
mm,
people that have got like podcasts and stuff like that as well, and online zines. So it's
mm.
been good, more than
Yeah,
happy.
I did notice that. I've noticed that recently in the socials. Like you've had a few people, I think they were called apologies if I get this wrong in
Yeah,
advance for later. Wormhole Death Magazine and a
yeah,
couple of other ones that were doing like track premieres and stuff and
yeah, yeah,
had a look into those and it looks like you guys have been getting a bit of a spread around the globe, which is good.
yeah. It's been really good. Like the streaming so far for the album has surpassed our last record all time. So it's really interesting that people are listening, and particularly like the US this time around, because we
Mm,
had a bit of support from a guy called Zach Moonshine, who has like a metal show and in the States in where is he? Tennessee, I think.
mm.
So that's been really handy because that sort of eluded us the last time. So the last CD was mainly Europe.
Yeah.
This time round, it seems to be a lot of streaming from the States, which is really good because, yeah, obviously population wise, la la la. So
Mm, mm,
good.
mm. Do you think there's something behind that in terms of how do you think it came to be that it's sort of distributed that way, like random chance, or do you feel it's maybe even something with the album or
It's a solid album.
yeah.
It is like I
Mm,
said this like during the recording process when I'd heard the tracks because I came in pretty late during the recording of this one,
mm,
but yeah before I was even in the band I was saying this is going to be a solid album. This is going to be really well received based on the consistency of it. Like the last album, it was a great album and I
yeah.
loved it as much as the next fan because I was a fan, but yeah, the consistency on this album is really solid. And
Mm,
yeah, like I was thinking that before the album was out. I was like, yeah, people are going to love this one. Yeah.
And I
mm,
think also because the states in particular, the we had released one of the songs, Eat Your Entrails, was on a compilation, and that was
mm,
a US based sort of company as well. So that may have opened the door a bit, I think, for the rest of it. I'm
mm.
thinking, I'm speculating, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
the what was it called? That one?
Well, yeah,
Yeah, don't know, but
uh,
it had like
Imperium
yeah,
music was it?
yeah, that's right.
Imper-
Imperial, and they also featured Dayside and God Dethroned. So of course, being big acts like that, and
Yeah.
alongside
Huge.
those kind of bands, like
Yeah,
people that
yeah.
are interested in in whatever else is on that compilation. So I figure it's also partly probably that.
Mm, mm.
Yes.
And I'd say musically, you guys like, I'm sure like some people might be like with the whole like crust death metal scene be like, doesn't it all sound kind of the same sort of thing? I'm not surprised that there's like a bit of there's some interest in Europe and US because I had a advanced listen, one of the perks of the unpaid job being a
Yeah.
muso journalist, and it's got I'd like to say it's got a really strong like skit system, very like like almost like a not specifically Swedish, but like a very strong like Swedish crust bent to it. Like I find that with your last LP and this one even more so, there's a bit of a strong like European um
Yeah, we've had that before. Like, we're
mm,
not very, very Australian that way. Like,
yeah.
also the fact that people find, well, I think we are, but with cunt being the main focus of our affections. But I think we've had that said, and I think because in Australia, I don't think there are many bands that are kind of outside of the sort of genres, if that makes sense. Like, as
Mm,
I know promoters here like to put bands like death metal bands on, and black metal bands on all. So for us, it's been difficult for them as well to place you. And when you're a bit of a mix, which
yeah,
we are,
yeah, yeah.
um, it makes it hard. And so therefore you're sort of on the outer in some ways. But,
Mm,
which is not the case in Europe, which is why I suppose there's a little bit more, stuff that's outside of those boxes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
so that's what I think. And also because yeah, like in it's got various flavors, this record.
Well, I think in general though, there's not a lot of bands doing the same sort of style and sound as Cunt Squad at the moment.
yeah.
Like there's a big focus at recently with all the technical bands, and that's a great thing. I love technical
Mm,
music as much as the next person,
But
but
we're not that.
yeah, there's not a lot of bands, especially in Australia, and I'm guessing overseas, that are doing sort of more minimalist stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And that was probably more of a '90s thing for those that remember. It
Yeah.
was like
Mm,
the early grindcore and whatnot,
yeah.
and we the old school people, we all love all that early grindcore, and this album sort of it's got a lot of that feel to it.
Mm.
And I think it turns out that the new kids are also loving the grindcore as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Damn kids are getting back
Those
into the
kids,
HM2 pedal.
I know, right? Those kids are crazy. Like,
they absolutely rabid at the shows. The young ones, we love
yeah,
doing all ages shows. They just go berserk
Oh,
for it.
that's awesome. That's so good to hear. And I think that mirrors like what you guys are saying. It's very interesting with the trends around death metal at the moment in general, especially in Australia, because we've had kind of that wave of like everyone's just suddenly gotten invested in being like Fallujah, Demolic.
yeah.
Whoop, my
Yep.
webcam is the
Wonky.
webcam stand's broken. This is also what happens when you're not funded. So I'm basically holding this bugger up by my
Oh
hands.
no.
But
Blue tack
oh
it.
Jesus. Hang on, I'm gonna have to MacGyver this. This is gonna be interesting for the
Oh,
podcast
nice.
listeners
All
who
right,
have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh,
edit
no.
it with movie magic.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's better.
Yeah,
So for me, it's kind of like I feel that say for instance like the metalcore scene you had
yeah,
that sort of Lamb of God, that sort of thing, then you had
yeah,
the 2010s where there was a lot more, it got even more polished,
yeah,
everyone wanting that nolly periphery from Get Good, like clean tone.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what I'm noticing with death metal, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I think this is probably actually leading into how you guys are garnering some more popularity lately, is that there's a bit of an appetite, especially post lockdown, for um, even a lot of these technical and progressive bands. People want the crust back, right? Like people are kind
Yeah,
of there's a
I,
there's a bit of a clamoring for that, like just raw tone and
yeah,
that,
I
as you said,
agree.
yeah,
But
I've got to say, like, I mean, honestly, like, there are so many really proficient, like, as Nick just said, like, technical,
mm,
death metal and so forth out there, and that's great. And like, there's a place for everything. But for me, it's like, and I've noticed the kids in particular like to they like their breakdowns. They like to, be able to move with the music. And so when I'm writing, I certainly have that. That's in the back of my head always. Like always create space, always create, enough, rhythm to be able to groove to it. Like that's what I enjoy. Like I've always enjoyed being able to. So if I go and see a band, and we saw Portal the other night, that was fucking amazing. But there were like every cunt in that room were just like standing there because the music is very, it's atmospheric. It's
a very cerebral show, isn't it? Like
totally. And
like,
it has its place, like it's awesome. But for me, like if I'm writing music for myself primarily, but also for other people to hopefully get into, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear, breakdown. I want to hear some space. I want to be able to get into it, simply just get into it. But I've always written with, it's always been riff driven. That's just how I write. And so it's not like I sat there and thought, oh, what should I do now? I'll make it. It just is what it is. And I think every band or every movement, for what it's worth, has its time and place. Yeah. And you're trying to fit into, you can't chase that dragon, I suppose is what I'm saying. You've got to be true to yourself. And
no one in the band's really trying to showcase their fucking abilities. We're just trying to fucking write what we want to hear, which is just great fucking metal.
And it is simple. It's not, there's nothing technical about what we do. It's just
about banging your head.
It's basically just fun music for depressed people.
But also on that note too, I think like people forget that sometimes even just playing, like keeping the pulse on a simple riff, people might bag it, but sometimes it's actually it can be tricky. Like sometimes
you have to be precise, otherwise you're going to get caught out.
We were talking about this the other day. Sometimes black metal makes great use of that monotony, and playing it, you get a sense of agony and pain just by the durations and stuff as well. And that works for that vibe in black metal. And we're more a mosh band, and fucking that vibe, what we do sort of works to get that going on as well. And
and the kids get it. Like that's the thing.
They get it. Like it doesn't have to be overly complex. It just has to
needs to be
you.
brutal.
Brutal. And you guys are kind of also, I think, form part of a bit of a growing cluster of bands too within the Melbourne scene. I mean,
it's a few guys.
I'm not one for lumping things in categories, but like Carcinoid, Contaminated, there's a lot of bands coming out that are alongside you guys that do have that focus on, you know what, let's just make it addictive, groovy, fun.
As fuck.
That's the thing. Like I get I saw I've seen Carcinoid a couple of times, and I agree that's exactly what they kind of do as well. We're different in many respects, but again, it's very riff driven what they do, nothing overly complex. Because a lot of bands, like I said, that you don't want to listen. If you want to listen to technical metal, there are so many really freaking awesome bands out there that you're just mind blowing. But that's that has its place, but we're not that. So
and something you learn over the years from playing a lot of live music is things get lost in translation live, and sometimes people don't care fucking how diminished your fucking fifth is and whatnot. No one's listening to that. But like a lot, some shit does get lost in translation, and we're very much a live band, and it's got to translate well live as well.
So in terms of the writing, Paula, like you've mentioned yourself in terms of the writing process, and I know there's been a lot of happenings within the band, and we can get to that in a bit. But in terms of like the current kind of like lion's share of writing, are you guys sharing that, or is it between all members? How does it sort of look for you
Paula.
It's all me at the moment, but
it's not democracy.
Oh, shut the fuck up. It actually, I mean, I'd love for it to be a democracy. What actually happens is that I'll write something, and the pretty much the main crux of it is, and basically when I bring it in, then there are ideas thrown around, and it does change. So there's input from everyone anyway. So, and that's how I like it. Like, it's not like I'm standing there being the band Nazi, because I don't work like that. I'm more than welcome, you know, contribution or songs from other, like Steve, who passed away not very long ago. He had written a song on the other CD. So and you know, that's because that was the only one he had. Like, okay, so someone has to write music. I'm not, you know, in charge of that, but I'm the one that's pushing it at the moment. But you know, whatever. Like, for me, I'm pretty easy. I'm happy to hear, you know, and take ideas from others. And often the song, the structures, what I bring in, it changes and it morphs as we play it, as we, you know, get up, you know, ideas. And certainly with this record, when we went in to record it, and it was really difficult, and we were being very picky, I know, but it was difficult because we added things during the recording as well, which we thought, you know, oh, this bit kind of needs this. So we then went in and did those bits again. So again, it changed from what we had written and what we were playing to when we recorded it, and now we play it as we recorded it. But so what I'm saying is pretty fluid, and it's pretty organic in the way it kind of unfolds. It's not, we don't sit there, I certainly don't sit there and go, oh, let me think of how I can make us sound like, you know, Dayside. No.
And during the recording, though, Paula also decided to buy 7-string guitar, and then we had to re-record the album.
Well, you know, we'd initially gone in the first time, because we started it 2 years ago, and we put down four tracks because we wanted to put out an EP. We just didn't have enough songs, basically, and a record company was kind of like, you know, kind of need something anyway. And once we did that, and I had a listen, I was like, no, this is just not doing it for me at all. Like, what's going on? And so we had a good think, and we did a lot of introspective, you know, a lot of critical thinking actually around.
By drop tuning more.
Yeah. We then drop tuned again. And and then Steve left the band. So it was a bit like, in terms of direction, and Steve was unwell, I've got to say, anyway. But point being that he was, you know, in many ways still kind of stuck in a place, and we needed to like move forwards, and it just wasn't working for us at that time. So he'd left the band, and then we had a bit of an interim guitarist for a bit until Nick joined. So when Nick joined, he came in and did the lead, because most of the rhythm was done. Most of it was done. We're waiting for his input, and that was totally his input for the lead stuff.
We jammed on it like twice, I think, before the recording, and just went threw it down.
So it's a bit crazy, and that was intentional on your part, I think. You know, listen to the first track. It's the you know, Piss and Purge, for example. It's really contrasting, like the stuff that he does there that he did. And then it goes into that big solid chunk. Yeah. They're two really contrasting things, which I kind of like. I love that sort of stuff. Like, I like things to, you know, fuck things right up and then come back to it. Yeah. With a solid. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. In terms of, like, for both of you guys, and Nick, for you coming into the band, who are your kind of main, obviously, like, most musicians aren't sitting and, you know, I am going to explicitly, I don't know, some might, but in terms of who your main kind of muses and inspirations at the moment for your own songwriting, who would you say would be the main bands for each of you guys?
Well, I listen to anything and everything, and to be honest, I was retired from music for like 15 years and swore I'd never play in bands again. And but here we are. But I guess when I'm throwing down solos or thinking of lead work, I just think of like every cool guitar thing that I've ever heard, and just got sort of, you know, all those bits that just make you go fuck yeah, or you know, wow, like I remember hearing like Amon Feasting the Beast, you know, like the old and the solos on that, and it just tore my head off completely. I'm very much when it comes to playing lead stuff, it's very much old school. I like to go absolutely fucking mental. And because I guess when you're really young and impressionable, like it sort of stays with you a bit.
Yeah.
And so roots are roots, you know.
And so no up and goes for you, and
not so much. Or maybe a ballad here and there. But no, I just think of like all those really cool guitar bits, and you know, that just tore your head off, you know, when you first heard. And I sort of just try and keep it like that for anybody who's, you know, a bit fresh to it all. Like, I'm going to rip your fucking head off too.
Yeah.
Which I think is and that's a good element to be like kind of, because I think people can be very preconceived when they think, oh, crust death metal, okay, so we're getting E5 power chords and maybe an open note chug over a whole album, no leads, no solos. I'd wager that's probably also why the very family friendly titled Satan's Cock is also getting a bit of a good rap. Like lead's always been part of your guys' sound too, and I don't know,
stepped it up a bit, I think, in terms of what the lead's kind of offering at the moment. I think, you know, well said as a lead guitarist, like, you know, those sorts of influence. For me, it's more like I get into, you know, the riff-based stuff. Like I like, you know, Sepultura, for example, the classics, like bands like that. I mean, I love what they do, and I'm talking old school Sepultura, but also the, you know, the stuff that, you know, they changed and became more sort of commercial. I like all of it, and for me, like bands like Mortician, like you can't get simpler than Mortician. Like they're my inspirations. And then in terms of attitude, then there's Sad X. I mean, I'm a big Sad X fan. I'm from way back, and it's not the music so much, the fact that I totally relate to the trashiness that they do, that they have. But for me, it's more like their attitude. Like for me, the attitude of the band and their ethos, that's what inspires me. Not them particularly musically, because whilst I sit down and listen to that, I don't want to replicate that. And I certainly, and I know that I don't, because I don't, because it doesn't sound anything like those two bands. But if we're talking about styles, or three bands, because I did mention Sepultura. I mean, I can, you know, Brujeria, I can go on, I could go on and on. There's so many bands, and they're all old school bands. With the exception of some of, like, for example, the more modern bands like, you know, the deathcore bands. I mean, deathcore's got a really bad sort of reputation, I think, at the moment. A lot of people don't like it, and I think it's because the kind of crowd they attract. But, you know, there's some bands that are just freaking awesome, and again, because it's like, for me, the interest is because it's so riff driven, and that's where my head's at. I've always been like, even as a youngster, when, you know, I was moshing out to bands, it was those sorts of bands that, and even like some of the industrial bands, I love fucking industrial music, and that's what it is about industrial music that I really love too. I mean, a lot of that is repetition, a lot of it is riff based and very minimal. So that's what inspires me, is that there's a multitude of bands out there that do it. So I can't, you know, but that's what it is for me. And it
really just sounds like the ultimate like mission statement for the band is like, you guys are honestly probably a lot more relaxed than a lot of the bands, because the Australian scene is pretty primo. Like we have a lot of high grade, well produced stuff coming out, and we're getting a pretty good rep for, you know, being on the cutting edge of X, Y, and Z. And I can imagine like that can actually be stressful for some musicians. And it just sounds like you guys have gone, not so much now we're just going to write like meat and taters. It's more just like, we're just going to play what feels organic to us, what we like, what we know is going to kick off at a show, and just what goes hard for us, essentially.
And I think fortunately for us, there is that gap musically, like I was saying, in locally with that particular sound, and which helps us to stand out a little, I guess, in that area. But it's a gap that needs to be filled. Like someone's got to do it. Someone should do it, because
absolutely,
you know, it's great sound. And I thought this before I was even in the band. Like I was saying, I was a fan before I was a member, and I love the last album. My only issue with the last album was that consistency overall, and I feel like that would have given Cunt Squad a much harder job of sort of being billed and for bookings and whatnot, and getting the shows. Whereas this album, it's a pretty clear mission statement on it.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, because that's the issue that we had with the previous. We're still trying to find our feet really in many ways, and the other thing is, in terms of production, it was so raw. Like we didn't have much time or money actually to spend finding it. So when it came out, and we hadn't yet had a record deal. Actually, we're going to put that out ourselves because local people wanted product, and so we did that. And then, funnily enough, we got 2 offers from overseas, and I'm like, oh, that was really surprising, because no way did we expect that. But I think the appeal there was the Aussiness of it. It is very raw, and we are traditionally quite raw. Maybe not so much these days, but we have been kind of in your face, and like Australian bands have got a flavour, I think, and I think everyone realises that overseas now, and so it's good for Australian bands in that respect, and
you can't beat just good songs. They're good songs, like like the structure works, like a good song's a fucking good song. Doesn't matter what fucking where you're from, like everyone knows a good song when they hear it.
And you kind of like, I think for us it's always been the case, and even in my previous projects, unless you see the band live, you have an idea of what we're like, even if you listen to it. But without doubt, like we've always been able to win over a crowd. Like when they actually come and see you, it's like, oh, fuck, that was really good, or that was, I really like, like it's we have that. I don't know why that is, but it is, and it's kind of like Cunt Squad live is kind of different to recorded, and a lot of bands will say that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they get that kind of. We get
I'll attest to that for sure.
Yeah, personally. Like we often get, and the number of women that come up and girls that come up and say, "Oh, yeah, wow," like and that keeps me going, because I do it for them. I really do, and that's why I still, because I should have gone away a long time ago, but I haven't, and that's why it keeps me going, because of them. And if it wasn't for the punters that come out, and particularly the women, like it wouldn't be a thing. Like
but I've always been a big supporter for chicks getting into metal as well, because I'm from back in the day in Brisbane, where the girls in the metal scene, you could count them on one hand.
Yeah,
and they were few and far between, and it was a bit of a boys' club, unfortunately. And I was fortunate enough years ago to work for almost 10 years with a female in my old black metal band for years and years, and she was one of the greatest musicians ever. And it's good to see the girls, the young ones now, coming up and loving it and getting into it. And I hope they go ahead and do stuff too.
Yeah, like without a doubt, it's always been a prominent thing. Like when they hear you sing, it's like, oh, fuck, I'm so glad that there's actually a woman in amongst all of the lineup, and there are a lot more girls and women playing, in metal now, which is great. But when I started out, years ago, there was nobody. Like there was literally no one around, handful maybe at that of women, and now there's so many. And I think for me, it's always been because I've always been a guttural singer, always trying to push it. And this record actually it's pushed even more. So I try and push myself more towards down that path. And I think girls in particular don't always equate that style with femininity or being a woman. Now that there's so many bands and chicks doing it, it's just like this eye opener, and that's really important for them to understand that you don't have to sing like Whitney Houston to be okay singer. So
that's a good point there. I mean, look at like Cerebral Bore and like more recently Stabbing. Jesus Christ, that
I've heard of that.
That
is rapping,
and that's and it is a different energy. Like it's a different sort of feel that you would get with a guy doing similar things, and it just, I don't know why that is. It's maybe it's hormonal, but either way, it is kind of different.
So I guess for me, I wanted to kind of approach too because around the time, so Satan's Cock, it's just fun to say the album title.
No,
I
we
usually say
love
the new
we
album,
love
but it's
just
just
getting
fun
people.
as fuck to say Satan's Cock.
Yeah,
There
it's
was
funny watching
definitely
people say it.
I'm gonna
Some
have to hit the explicit button when I upload it on the podcast distribution platform.
Satan's
Yeah.
Sorry in advance.
Satan's
Um, but you guys had so there'd been some really like early June, there was a couple of really like serious tragedies that had, surrounded the band in quick succession. And
yeah.
I can look, I just want to personally state that I'm really sorry on
Yeah.
behalf of everyone in the Cunt Squad gang and the family and the community to hear about those recent losses. And I can only imagine for you guys, especially you, Paula, as a longer term band member, like it must have been a very melancholic time for you recently in terms of
Yeah.
you've got the album release coming out and celebrating. Have you found navigating the last couple of
Oh
months,
yeah. Look,
you
I
guys?
think it was so unexpected. I mean,
Yeah.
like both those people. Steve was in the band for a while, and then we had to let him go because of his health issues, and he had other issues as well, and he was just not functioning. And we knew
Yeah.
that if there wasn't an intervention, I remember speaking to his family. But anyway, long story short, he passed away. Was like what like it
Yeah.
was so shocking. And then within like 12 hours, our drummer's girlfriend,
Yeah.
Kelly, who was again a big supporter of the band, she used to take all the photos, and she was a supporter before she was Ad's girlfriend. So
Mm.
I'd go back with Kelly a bit, and that was that finished me off. Like I was
Yeah.
like, what?
And the shittiest part is
Yeah,
we just come back from touring up in Queensland.
yeah,
Mm.
We just played some of the best shows that
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
we were on like the highest high from that
Yeah.
because they were amazing shows, and
Yeah.
things couldn't have gotten any better. And then within 24 hours of getting back from that, we get all this news, and it was like from the highest high to the lowest low.
I
Just
mean, the thing
overnight.
is, both of those people unwell, both of them were,
Yeah.
but like you still don't expect
No.
that. Like they were
Yeah.
still quite like they were not old people. Like I
Mm.
don't,
Yeah.
and this is just, I suppose, in some ways, a lesson to us all in the sense that you got to live your life like it's your last because you don't know. And in their,
Mm.
and in their situation, even being ill, I still didn't think that they would pass so quickly. Despite Steve having all of those issues, I still didn't believe that
Mm.
that happened. So for
Mm.
me, it was a bit of reconciling, and we go back. I met Steve. He was playing in my old band, and I met him because he was a fan of the band before he joined that band. So it was like,
Mm. Mm.
we go back 30 years. So it's pretty hard to
Wow.
sort of,
Yeah.
um, reconcile that time. But for what it's worth, you have to move on. And we just kind of like, we did a tribute to him at the festival we did in.
Yeah, we did the only thing a band could do, which is go and play another show in Adelaide. And
But
Yeah.
that was a tribute. And poor Adsy, he was in the green room after the gig, writing his eulogy for Kelly's funeral, and like that
Oh,
was just so bumming out. Like,
Yeah.
man.
Because we weren't even sure if we were going to do that gig because we had to ask Ads because he, having his partner pass and and whatnot. So I asked him, what do you feel like? How do you want? Do you want to do this gig or should we blow it out? Because
Yeah.
whatever you feel you need to do. And he's like, no, we'll do it because I need to be distracted, and he needed to move on. So to his credit, like he's put in, more than everyone else with respect to moving on. And yeah, like as Nick just said, he was writing his speech as we were sort of finished up and coming home because he had to go to the
Yeah.
funeral anyway. But look, it was hard, and look, I can't even think about it because it does actually make me really sad. But
Yeah.
I can't, you can't control what you can't control. So it's just what it is.
Yeah. And I just obviously I want to, personally pass on to Adam to add,
Yeah,
my
thank you.
definitely my condolences as well. And look, I also want to commend you guys too, because things like this, even when you've got album releases and shows coming up and things like that, um, tragedies like this, I mean, even God, this is turning into a morbid episode. My apologies.
All
We
right,
had
go
Brent
ahead, Tony.
Hines today. We had Aussie recently, you know.
Yeah, I know, right?
Um,
That was,
but I don't know what's going on with 2025, but can you like
yeah,
fuck off for a second,
yeah,
mate?
I know. But there's always something around the corner. That's the
There
thing.
is.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, I guess, like for you guys, because shock shock occurrences like this can be an immediate end to a
Yeah,
band, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
yeah, true.
events like this, it's like it just is the consequence is we actually can't continue any longer.
Yeah,
Well,
So I'm curious to hear
credit to
what's keeping you guys going
credit
like at
to
the
ads
moment
though.
too.
Credit to ads though, because I mean, he really didn't expect such a tragedy to happen,
yeah,
and
Yeah,
I mean, he's handled that in his own time.
yeah.
I mean, had he turned around and said, "I can't do this anymore," like there's no one that would have,
God,
not
no. Yeah,
understood. But
yeah.
no,
Mm,
he's stuck with it, and I think he's using this as,
it's cathartic for him, I
yeah,
suppose. Well,
he's enjoying the music
and the thing
anyway.
is,
yeah.
that's what he knows. That's what Cully would have wanted because she was
Yeah,
his biggest fan. Like, really, she was,
Yeah.
and she'd
yeah.
take photos of him and his pose
There-
there.
There's more footage out there of ads' drum cam, which Kelly had taken, than anything else like
Yeah.
related to Cunt Squad. So
Yeah.
yeah, we lost our biggest fan there as well.
Mm.
That was, well, I'm sure because I know this because I was close with Kelly, and that was her biggest desire was to see ads. She was so proud of him, like so. She used to refer to him as my hero because he was to her, and
Yeah.
when everyone else is gone, he was there for her, and
Yeah.
that speaks volumes. Like his actions in the way his relationship with her and everything that went down, that's what she would have wanted, and I think Ads is honouring that because of her that that
Mm.
hasn't left, and he's picked up and done that gig because he knows that that's what Kelly would have wanted. To be honest, 100%.
Yeah. It really reiterates the importance of like
Yeah, reiterate.
it reiterates the importance of the new material because now, it's a legacy. You guys have
Yeah,
not putting pressure on you guys or anything. It's sounding like, correct me if I'm wrong again, but it's sounding like, you've got this sense of like let's keep this going. Like even ads is like that's what Kelly would have wanted.
yeah.
Um and now there's like a sense of legacy of keeping the project going on and moving on.
Oh, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
certainly in honour of those two people and the efforts
Yeah.
that they, put in, and
Mm.
also in honour of, the band itself in terms of, Nick coming in
Yeah.
and everything that's happened. So honestly, for me, it's just, plodding along, and it's very cathartic for me. Like the first record
Yeah.
I did was like, yeah, I was just venting, and people that knew me knew what that was about. And
Oh yeah, I could hear it in the new
oh,
material too.
yeah,
She
I
was a
could hear it
pain
in
in
the
the ass
riff,
for this
everything.
record
Yeah.
too.
yeah, and I was a
Mm.
pain to get this, but and I wasn't going to let this one go very easily. And Jason had to bring in Jamie Kolick, who plays in what's that band again? Chambers of Dissonance, and
Mm.
he's come in and done part of it. It's a part of the recording and part of the mixing because I was so demanding of Jason, and he was going through his own shit too. To be honest,
She was
like,
demanding of everybody.
and like, no, it's not
Jeez.
right. Can you do this? Can you make
You're the cross Devon Townsend.
can you make the snare less, ringing and la la la. And so
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
end of it, I think he knew, like, Jason's very good at what he does. Like, he made it come together in the end. I don't know how.
He just got tired of getting whipped every day. Every day.
It wasn't every day. It was
It
like
was.
nice chunks of space in between. But anyway,
Every day.
by the end of it, like, it was, he made it work. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, between Jamie and Jason, the work that they did, it was just phenomenal because I would have smacked myself. if I was in their shoes.
Yeah,
Shut up.
They were over the album, mate. They were just over it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's out. Yep, I'm going to bed for 3 days.
Yeah.
So in terms of like getting future focused then, so what's on store? I mean, I know what's on store, but I'd love to hear what you guys are constantly busy. Like you guys are always doing stuff and it's great to see. What can we, so you mentioned before you got a tour that's you're starting
So
in WA.
mid-September, yes.
Yeah.
Mid-September we go to Western Australia. Now, I've never been to
We've got
Western Australia.
two shows in WA.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, all
It's
ages, both of them, I believe.
Yeah, that'll be good. So it'll be interesting because never been ever to Western Australia. It's so far away, but and so expensive.
Yeah, we
to
could have gone to
before.
Europe, but no, we're going to Western Australia instead.
Yeah, I went with my band and it cost more than going to Europe, and I'd never been to Perth before. And a couple of the bands that were there were like, we've never been here before. It costs us so much money, and it's weird that we're here for a metal gig, but you'll enjoy it. And I think WA listeners will be keen, and I'm glad to hear Perth folks getting more. Like Northie's announced there's a WA Froth and Fury and stuff, so
awesome.
You guys will be kind of leading a bit of a Melbourne metal charge over there in advance.
Hopefully.
Well, it is like an entirely different country, isn't it? Because it's so far away. Like, you know, they got their own thing going on, and
but they seem to be really keen. So, well, that's really refreshing because, like I said, never been there, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes down. And then after that, we haven't got concrete dates right now, but we do know that the rest of the tour to launch the album will be happening, probably coincide with the release of the next single from the record, and that's mid-October. So from that point onwards, we'd be going to all the other states, so Adelaide, Sydney, Brisbane and Tassie. Obviously, there'll be one here as well.
Probably
so
Gold Coast as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll do
I'm glad to hear the Goldie finally gets like their
Gold Coast is awesome.
Allocated one non-Brisbane death metal band.
Oh, we had a great time last time we were there. It was awesome. We love the Gold Coast. We don't like the Gold Coast Police or Queensland Police, but we love the Gold Coast.
No one does.
Not even they do. There with the coppers, but anyway.
We all do. We all do.
Yeah. They tried to pinch us for loading our gear in.
No.
Yeah, of course they did.
Of
course they did.
That's so Queensland Police, isn't it?
Oh, the spirit of Joe Bielke lives on. But anyway, you guys will have a blast there. Goldie folks will be keen about that. Yeah. So you're doing a bit of a national tour. What about anything in the works? Have you had any offers in the works about further abroad?
We got this one coming out. There it is.
Hey.
Offer in the works. You mean for overseas?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we passed one up last year. I keep forgetting the name of that band, but we got offered Ectomorph, and I didn't know who they were at the time. Yeah, and
interesting.
And they were doing a European tour and got something like 100 dates. I don't know how much it was, but it's like a month away, and like
not really our style, but
the thing is, like they've got a freaking. Like I said, I had to look them up. I didn't know who they were, so we were offered that tour and we're like, okay, maybe we can do half of it because it comes to bucks, right? And we couldn't afford that, and so we had to pass up. And being away for that long would have been really difficult because the other two boys work. I don't, but that's not but they do. And so, it's kind of would be hard. So
we were looking forward to playing with Botulism earlier this year too, and then they got
the visa,
they couldn't get in
wasn't
the
it?
country as well.
Was it the visa with Botulism?
Yeah, apparently,
yeah. So that was a bit of a pain, but So we'll see what pans out. It seems, like I said, there's a bit of a interest from the States. So I know that Zach Moonshine from Metal Devastation Radio over there has been really pushing it. They're based in Tennessee, and he puts on Metal Fest every year, and one's happening very soon over there. But maybe next year we'd be off there, maybe because he's pretty keen to have us on, and so we'll see how it pans out. But I don't expect to wait like 2 years before the next freaking recording. But starting to write new stuff as we go, and hopefully that will also show up at some point down the road. But for the moment, there's some goals there, and one of them is to actually get out of Australia. That would be nice. Just a short stint here and there would be really good. But yeah, stay tuned because working on that.
Yeah, we have the plan of no plan, which is exciting in itself, really, isn't it?
We are no planners.
It's like solo traveling and dropping yourself in another country, except with people and instruments. Yeah. That's awesome, guys. Well, look, thanks for the chat. We've had a bit of a long one, but it's been great to
thank
kick
you.
back late on a Friday and have a chat about all things Cunt Squad. So you guys, Satan's Cock is out now. And
you know that's Bill Hicks, don't you? It's a Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks comedy stick. He's a very dark person.
And if people are intrigued by the album title, I'm just going to say, wait till you see some of the song titles as well. Which, it's on the money. It's on the money for the genre.
And
I
watch
enjoy
videos. Go and look up the videos because they are really. They're telling as to if you don't know what the songs are about, you watch the videos. They kind of match.
I love your clips, and can you please do more clips because they're fucking awesome. I know they're not easy and they're a pain, but great work on the media too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Right. So we'll have some of your info up there and some of those clips and stuff on the website with the podcast episode.
Cool.
And enjoy your weekend, guys, and
you too.
Make sure to crank those distortion pedals with as much HM2 fuzz as you can possibly.
We've got like 3 distortions.
3 noise gates each.
Hell yeah.
2 amps.
All right. Thanks for the support.
Thank you.
No worries. Take it easy, guys. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Peace.
My word, R2, that is some smashing, slamming death metal. If you've enjoyed the interview, head on over to innerstrengthcheckpodcast.com for more details, music, videos, links, and more for Cunt Squad. Peace, love, and protocol droid grindcore.